everybody, Charlie here, Rookie Farmer. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've made a video, so I figured I would show you some of the latest and greatest that's going on. We just got through with our first cut of the hay season. We got some new equipment last year, or newer equipment, and some changes to my main equipment. My Mahindra 6075, something happened and it required it to be in the shop. So it's currently in the shop and probably until the end of summer, so I had to make a decision not to lose my hay crop. So I went and purchased a new Massey Ferguson 4707, and let me say I am super impressed and happy with this tractor. It is 70 horsepower, much heavier, much bigger profile, much more room in the cab. There's not much that I dislike about this tractor, and I have a feeling that once my Mahindra is out of the shop, it's not going to be my backup anymore. I may end up moving it out just because I'm so happy with this Massey Ferguson. So we're just going to go over a little bit of stuff with it and let you see some of the benefits I think of this machine over the Mahindra. If you got a Mahindra 6075, you'll see some of the attributes that are much nicer on this thing. So we'll start from the back. All right, the rear tires, I have these set at the wider stance. They're the second from the inside stance. They're in the second position to give it about 8, I want to say 8, maybe 10 inches more span or width across the back. The rear tires are 18-inch versus 16 on the Mahindra. These are radials also. A lot of vast improvements in the 3-point system comparison to the Mahindra. And there's a lot of similarities to the same. The biggest known or physical feature that I like is having the hydraulic rams that move the 3-point versus the Mahindra, where it has the top hat assembly and it runs a piston that drives this up. So if you have a failure, it's generally internal to the transmission section, and they would have to remove the cab, etc., to be able to service it, where these are hydraulic rams. If you have a problem with 3-point, it's physically can be seen by either a leak or a hose blown. So servicing of the 3-point is so much easier versus on the Mahindra. Generally, when you see this type of system, it is on tractors of larger size. Well, this particular tractor is larger than the Mahindra. Its base weight, I have liquid ballast in both the tires, and it has the wheel weights, and each wheel weight, it weighs 50 kilograms, and there's 3 of them per tire. So the base weight of this tractor is 9,920 pounds. That's the gross vehicle weight. And then you add the ballast to the tires and the wheel weights, front end loader, and this tractor's probably pushing 13K plus. Next we move on to the top link. The top link's got this nice cam lock nut feature, so it allows you to make the turning on that, and you just lock it down with that. That's really a nice feature. I like the hook system. When you unhook it, it snaps into this clip. Rear remotes, to me the rear remotes are kind of pushed back a little bit far, but they're salvageable. So still room to get in there. On my new baler, they have 2 of the lines have on-off valves, so the on-off valves are kind of tricky to open and close from here, so I have to open them before I install them most times to be able to have room to have them in that function. Easy to access to fill the oil. The oil has a sight glass in the back. The tractor's kind of pointing downhill, so henceforth the oil level's a little bit low. The tractor, if you had the 1000 RPM PTO range, then you have the ability to unbolt the spline and put the 1000 spline on here. This tractor is only equipped with 540E. One of the downfalls, that comparison to the Mahindra to this Massey, is that for 540E you select it from back here, not from the cab like you would on the Mahindra. So that's kind of a plus, or it's a negative for me. Even though I did most of my cutting with my disc mower, I did it with the 540E, had no problems with it whatsoever, where on the Mahindra it would struggle in 540E. The bonus is with this tractor is it has a soft start in the PTO. So when you engage the PTO from the cab, it takes a little bit for the thing to, you'll hear a clicking sound, so it's like a clutch or something, clutch system in there, and then once it runs for about 5 seconds before it's fully engaged, so it doesn't kill your engine when you're trying to start a high demanding implement, which is really nice. It has the turnstile, dual turnstile turnbuckle that the Mahindra has. I really like those. The 3-point, the lower links, I have the telescoping. You pull the lever, and this lever can lock up, so it leaves this to move freely. It only comes in the Cat 2 option, so you have to put the shims in there. They give you the shims with the tractor, so I have no Cat 2 implements, so I got the shims. They're permanently installed. It would require a punch to be able to drive them out. They're like a spring clip, so there's a split in it right here, so you basically have to press them in and they stay locked in all the time. The bonuses I really like over the Mahindra is all the tie points from either your sway bars and your lower links are double side supported. So unlike the Mahindra, it's only one side with a pin, you have a higher chance of breaking one off, where these, especially for the sway bar links, is a cast iron part, and the part that's for the lower link tying to the main chassis of the tractor, that is a weld on, that is not cast, so, and it's double supported. Really nice. I don't care for the sway bar links. I like the Mahindra style better. These particular sway bar links have the pin, you can pull it and then it can be adjustable this way, but you have to physically adjust it with a screw here to set the length. And I find that, I mean, the bonuses with it is that you can take all slop out of your lower links and remove all sway out of it, versus the Mahindra you can't. But this, when it's like that, it makes those links extremely hard to get this pin out in order to make them swing freely. And I don't feel I have this near enough travel, so when I run my disc mower, I lose about 3 inches of the cut because I can't, because of the adding the width to the tire, the stance out, the cut is in on the tire a little bit, and it wouldn't be affected like that if I wouldn't have moved the tires out. But I moved them out because I cut some of the properties I cut, they're on a really steep hill, and when I run my Mahindra, I had it at the normal stance and no liquid ballast in the tires, and there was times I just had a pucker factor with cutting with that disc mower hanging off the side. And if you turned on the disc side down the hill, it would give you an uneasy feeling in the tractor. So that's why I went with the liquid ballast. The wheel weights was a mistake by the dealer. They forgot to take them off, and then they realized that they left them on, and they just told me thanks, and there's a nice free upgrade. So those wheel weights, if I'm not mistaken, are about $1,000 addition to the price of the tractor if you want them, and I got them for no additional cost, so that was a good for me. Anyways, and then the drawbar, unlike the Mahindra, you have multiple positions. Not that I ever used it in the Mahindra. I did set my drawbar off to one side, before, but I've never offset it for a need on an implement or pulling anything. But this one only has 3 positions, unlike the Mahindra you got a multitude with different holes. So this one's either one side, the other side, or the center, and that's it for that. Window washer fluid here, same as the Mahindra, except for this tractor has a rear windshield wiper and the washer fluid. It has for your 3-point links, you can do a remote right here, up and down. It is not as simple as you would think. When you first press it, you have to do a code. Like if you want to go down, you would hit down, up, down, and then hold the down if you want it to continue to go down. But it starts really slow, and then it gets faster over time. So the longer you hold it, the faster it goes until it's all the way down. So, and if you want to do it up, you got to go the other way. And it has these buttons on the opposite fender also. It makes it really nice when you don't have to jump in and out of the tractor when you're trying to make adjustments to your lower links. But all in all, it's I like the feature, and I've used it already. One of the downfalls that I don't like is that they put the air filter for the air conditioner in the back. And when I got the tractor, it had, I think, 6 or 9 hours on it, and now I have almost 40 hours on it with all the cutting and baling. And that filter was nearly plugged up. When I was finishing up the last of the hay, the air conditioning was getting where it wasn't as effective, and when I pulled that filter out today, it was just full. So that's a downfall over the Mahindra, is on the side by the driver's door, where this one's in the back, and I don't care for it. It's got rear lights just like the Mahindra. Your turn signals and hazard lights, all that's the same. And we come around, all of the windows on the tractor, they all open except for the front. So the little side windows here, and they open towards the front, so they would scoop air. Let's just say the air conditioner failed and you needed some kind of way to get air in there. You can open the back quarter panels and they would drive air in it. It's got a fuel tank in the same position as the Mahindra. 27 gallon is the capacity on that. The toolbox is in a better position, and it's larger, not much larger, but it is larger than the Mahindra one. So I was able to get a little more stuff in that compared to the Mahindra, where I mounted a toolbox to the front of the grill guard. The mirrors, external mirrors, are much better than Mahindra, and because I do some properties that I don't manage the trees or anything. I just cut it for hay, but the tree limbs are easily fold those in, so when you're driving, it's easy to, when I hit the tree limb, it would, on the Mahindra, it would fold it in, and you got to go out the opposite door and go open it, where these particular holders are much more stout and they don't fold as easy. They will fold, because I had it fold on me once, but it doesn't fold as easy as it does on the Mahindra. I like those. It has lights mounted on the side of the front end loader. Also, your turn signal hazard lights are in that location also. Inside, it has the same kind of system that Mahindra does, with the intercooler, the oil cooler, and the radiator all in a row, and it's got a filter screen that you slide out to clean the dust or debris that gets pulled in. Unlike the Mahindra, the battery is in the front on this Massey. This is the I guess the basic front end loader. They have 2 versions. They have the upgraded version and this one. The upgraded version has a couple little, it has special covers that go over all the grease fittings, where this one, the grease fittings are open. It has a quick attach system that goes for removing and putting it back on, where you don't have to pull the pin. There's just a button you pull out, and then it automatically latches back in once you put it on there, where this one you got to get out and put the pin back in manually. This kickstands are really nice. They fold up and out of the way, unlike the Mahindra where you got to pull the things out and then put them in. These are at least hinged and bolted to the front end loader. Quick style, quick attach for skid steer implements. It's the same. Actually, these are easier to operate than they are on the Mahindra. Super easy, where the Mahindra takes a little more force to do. All the quick fittings on here are the flat face type, not ag style. Now the ag is for the back, but up here this is the flat face type system. They also have, you can upgrade. I didn't opt for it, but you can put there's like a soft front end loader. So unlike the Mahindra, when you do quick movements, the front end loader is really aggressive, so it kind of jars the whole tractor when you do things. I didn't opt for that on this one, but this one is definitely not as bad as the Mahindra as far as being aggressive and jarring the tractor whenever you have that, using your front end loader. As far as steering, speed, and performance, this is a 70 horsepower tractor. In my opinion, this thing has way more power than my Mahindra. The Mahindra would struggle with things. This one does not. When I have some fields I have to go to, I do have to do some road travel. This one is much more performance oriented as far as being able to keep the speed on the hills and stuff on the roads. I like this one better. It's quieter in the cab by far. We'll start it up in the video so you can hear with me talking. So we'll go over the inside stuff a little bit. Nice thing is it's got the same kind of step system as on the Mahindra. This one comes standard with a buddy seat in it. This is really nice if you got a small child or your wife or friend, relative, anybody wants to ride in there. It folds up. This is like a slide out and turn system, and the seat width is much nicer than the upgrade that you got to pay for through Mahindra. So let me turn this off, then we'll come in and I'll show you what we got inside. Okay, now we're sitting in here, do a little scan around. So we'll start here on the right. Back here you have a 12-volt cigarette lighter. You have a power connection for like your baler monitor that I have here for my baler monitor. You have the port down here for where the mechanic would stick the device so they can troubleshoot any kind of fault codes that you have. There's a cup holder position. This one here, it'd be too bumpy on a road to drive it, but they give you another one over here on this side that has the actual insert that goes into it, and you can switch sides. The ignition key is right here, not normal. They are down on the console. It's right here on the side in the stanchion. And as I noted before, the side windows, they open like that. Rear window opens the same as the Mahindra. It's got a handle here, and it swings out like so. There we go. You can use this as the handle to pull it back in. It's got an insert here that you can pull out to put your cabling that you would have for like a monitor. But I use this handle to grab it to pull it in. Shut it. Nice features. We'll go from here. This is your high and low range down here off to the side. This is a 6-speed transmission, so 6 high and 6 low. It's also in for reverse as well, so 12 high and 12 reverse. This is your PTO, or not PTO, but your 3-point positioning. Now this was like electronically or electrically controlled, so if you wanted to move it to a different position, what I've found is that wherever you've set it and you turn the tractor off, you turn it back on or whatever, and you had it in a position, you have to cyclically run it all the way down and run it all the way up in order to get it to start moving. It's vice versa. So if it's up, then you would pull it down to reset it, or if you had it up, you can pull it up to there. And then it has, this is for setting your positions, whatever position you wanted, and it's a detent lock. It's not set, you can just hear the clicking. It just detents in there. One of the things I do really like is the 4-wheel drive is engaged by push button. On the console, you can be an automatic 4-wheel drive or manually locked in 4-wheel drive. So just by hitting a button, versus on the Mahindra, you got to pull the handle that's down on your feet. The diff is also electronically controlled, so if you want to activate the differential, you just hit that. Versus the Mahindra, you got to use the foot pedal, and if you're trying to jockey throttle and clutch, brake, all that kind of stuff, it makes it difficult. Where this is just solid lock, it makes it really nice. The PTO is this rocker switch, so this is a button, so it's like a lock, so you have to push that to be able to push it forward to activate it. And as I noted before, it has a soft start in it, so inside the cab you hear this clicking sound. And if some of you are old enough to know, when you stick a card in a bicycle tire back in the day when it sounded like a motorcycle, that's kind of what it sounds like. When you turn it on, you hear this click, 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 click. And it goes for about 5 seconds or so, and then it's fully started. But it doesn't overload your engine down with some implements that require a hard start. My disc mower is like that, and on the Mahindra, you got to run the RPMs up when you activate it, or you could stall the engine out. That's how it seems. Where this one here, it doesn't matter if you're in 540E or in regular 540, it does the soft start. So I find then there was some instances that I would, on the Mahindra, when I would go to eject the bail out of the thing, I would turn the PTO off. Where this, I don't, because of the soft start. It would take too long to recycle start it, so I cycle my bales with the PTO still engaged. One thing that is super duper nice is this button here. This is the throttle, a preset throttle that you would set in the dash. So basically you would set your throttle here or on the foot pedal to whatever RPM. For me, I set it, like if I'm going to run 540E, I would set it at the 540E RPM, or the regular 540, I'd set it to that RPM. So once you have it set in here and holding, you press and hold that, and then it'll save that position. So if I'm sitting here in an idle and I'm ready to go with my 540 RPM, I would hit that button. It'll automatically rev the RPMs up. I don't have to mess with this. I don't have to mess with the throttle from the floor. It automatically goes to the preset that I have in the dash, which is super nice. And then once you're doing it, you want to come out of 540 RPM, you just hit it again and it'll drop back down to idle. Really, really nice feature. The remotes, these are detent locked on here for both of them, and it has these that you can actually lock them out, so you can't move them, or you can lock them in a full position. You'd have to hold it, and then you lock those in, and now it's stuck in that position. So if you wanted to be able to do that, that's an option for both of the implements. It comes standard with 2, but you can order it with 3, and the third one has some other, like a direct dump valve, or it directly dumps back to the sump, versus these do not. So when you get the third one automatically dumps right into the tank or the transmission, where these pass back through the system. Up here, like I said, your start, so you have your glow plug, your ignition, and then you turn the engine over. To start the engine, all it requires you to do is mash the clutch, the same as the Mahindra. This is your draft control knob right here. And up here you have your windshield, rear windshield washer. You push it all the way to the top. It's intermittent, and it has the standard. There's only one speed for the rear. You got your rear lights and your front cab lights up here, and then as well as the lights that's down here on the front end loader. Up top is your air conditioners, just basic controls. And this is the radio that the dealer installed, that came standard with it, and the speakers are already pre-installed. All your air conditioning vents go throughout the top. If you have the Vizio roof, which I didn't opt for, which is kind of nice, you have like minimal coverage before you see it, so you only have about this much area that's blocked that you wouldn't see, basically this bar, and then the rest you can see if you had the Vizio roof. Mirror on the inside, and then your 2 external cab mirrors. The front windshield is broad. I mean, there's really no blind spots in this tractor. The stanchions are really minimalistic. The braces in the back for the ropes is all minimalistic. You'll notice that the front end loader sits much higher than on the Mahindra, which is more level with the cab. I like it at the higher spot simply because now you can see through the bottom of the window and you can see your implement. So let me drop this down. So if you're trying to see the alignment to put your front implement on, you can see it out both of these windows, which is much nicer than it is on the Mahindra. You're guessing where you're at, trying to line up. I find this much better. The throttle on the floor, and you got split brakes here. You can split them, and then clutch. Okay, back on the shifter here. The shifter has a D-clutch button. So when you want to shift on the fly, you push this button that's in the front. Let me see if I can get it up here. You can see the button. That button will D-clutch. This is a synchro transmission, so you push that in, you can shift to your next gear if you're doing any road driving or wanting to change gears. You don't have to press the clutch pedal down here, which that's really nice. I use that when I'm transitioning on the road to head to the next field or back to the house. I can do that. I don't have to touch the clutch on the floor at all. For the front end loader, it's set up for a diverter valve type system. There's a single switch on here. I don't have the third function diverter valve, which I will be upgrading it, and it's already equipped with the switch for the soft, like I said, I don't know what it's actually called, but there's a soft function. I've seen it on some of the other videos where guys had it installed. So when you want that soft function, you can just turn the switch on, and it takes away the aggressiveness of your front end loader, which is super nice. Now on the front end here at the steering wheel, this thing has telescoping and tilt steering wheel. So you push down on the lever to tilt it, and then you would pull up on it to do the telescoping of the steering wheel. One of the really nice features on the shuttle type system is this lever. When you pull up on it, that declutches also. So, and then you can shift forward to reverse and declutch. If you're just sitting here in the field and I just want to declutch, I can declutch and just sit here and hold it, and it's declutched. The other thing is this knob here. This sets how quickly it transitions. So if I went from neutral to forward, it basically gives you a time or how aggressive it applies or removes the clutch to engage the thing fully. So if you set it all the way over to the negative, let's just say if you went from forward to reverse, it takes like 2 seconds. That's an exaggeration, I don't know the time, but it would take like 2 seconds to go from forward to, it would slow down, and then it would go and start slowly engaging into reverse. So it's a really nice feature to be able to adjust that. Or if you set it all the way positive, so if you went forward, it would go hard forward. If you hit reverse, it would go hard reverse. So much nicer. So again, you have 3 methods of clutching in this tractor. You have the floor here, you have this, and you have the button on the shifter. A lot of nice functions there. On the side, it has the horn on the left, or on the end of the stick it has your lights, and it also has your windshield washer, and you push in for the windshield washer, and you got 3 speeds for the front windshield washer. In the front, it's got a actual blind. It doesn't see through like the Mahindra one is like a screen. It's got the same kind of system. Just pull that one. The Mahindra's got a lever. This one's just a string coming down. The dash, We'll bring up the instrument panels. You see there's all the, you can actually see the faults or anything like that. Unlike the Mahindra, you got to stare really hard at it to see it. You got buttons down here underneath the steering wheel that you can cycle through different things that's on here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to shut the cab here and we'll start the tractor. Tractor is running in idle. I know on the Mahindra it's much louder. Even with this thing, I'll run it up to 540 speed. $19.20 is the art. It tells you right here what my setting is. So we'll bring it down to idle, and then we'll hit that button. There we go. Brought it up to 1920. And then you want to go back to idle. Go back to idle. Really nice feature. Love it. But as you can see, it's showing the four-wheel auto. You can hit the button and it'll go to full-time four-wheel drive. And you hit the button again, it goes back to auto. If you want the diff lock, there's the diff. See, I turned it on. You get the information. Now the diff is turned off. Parking brakes like the Mahindra, it's right here off the left side of your hip. Fuel gauge there. Temperature, this thing also tells you, if you cycle through the different menus, it tells you what your temperature, or it tells you right here, it tells me how many hours I got until my next service. So I'll be coming to my 50-hour service in 11 hours. It tells me the temperature of my transmission, and then you have the engine temperature right here. So nice feature there. You can turn the air conditioner on. So the air conditioner does work better in this tractor versus the Mahindra. I do know that when you turn this all the way up to 4, it gets really loud in here. So 4 is almost unbearable. 3 is not much better. So most of the time when I got my stereo, I can actually hear my stereo really well. I keep it at 2 or 1 and I stay comfortable in this thing all day. And right now we're in summer, so summer in Tennessee right now at this time of year, it's pushing the mid 80s, almost 90, so not too bad. On the left you got a glove box for storage stuff here, and down here you have a pocket with a mesh, elastic mesh system on here. Your arms are adjustable on the side here. This is an air ride seat, and also there's a lever on the side so you can turn the seat. So it works great if you got implements, so you're looking over your right shoulder. You can turn the seat at an angle and lock it in, and then lock it there. It'll go both directions, but it would be more useful going to your right so you're not straining your neck. But we'll go ahead and turn this off. Like I said, all the buttons down here, your lights, to turn the hood lights on. It's got a bucket level indicator on here. All in all, like I said, this tractor for 70 horsepower, it seems much more powerful than my Mahindra 6075. You can physically tell how it runs. The thing's so much quieter. The engine doesn't seem to load up as easy. The soft start for the PTO. Now, you know, while this tractor is about 10 grand more than the Mahindra, those features, some of these features on here, they're almost a must. I would when my Mahindra comes back, it's most likely going to get sold, because it's no need to have two nice tractors. But this tractor is much nicer than my Mahindra, and I think I'm going to part with it and stick with this Massey. One of the negatives that I don't like is the door handles. They're down low. You can see way down there on the bottom, and those are basically knee-height height. So you got to like bend over to open the door handle, open the doors. which I find that to be, if you were really tall, it's going to be, I mean, you're going to have to bend over to get out anyways. I still have to bend over, but I think the handle should have came out the top and made it much nicer, where you could literally just lean over and grab it, since the cab is so much bigger. But now it's you have to go stretch really far to get down there. I mean, I'm 5'9", and you can see I got my legs stretched out, and I'm almost 10 inches away from the stanchion there in the corner. So if you're tall, you can really spread out and not have your legs all cramped up all day long. So anyways, that is the inside. I don't think I have anything else. Oh, down here is another 12-volt cigarette lighter port, fuse panel right here, and there's, I think, another fuse panel inside the engine compartment. But all in all, this is my tractor. I love it. I didn't want to just get a video of me the day that got delivered. I wanted to actually run it in the field and have some kind of sense of what it was performance based in comparison to the Mahindra, running the same exact implements. I really like this tractor. It's a beast. I mean, it's for 70 horsepower tractor. Its weight, it's much heavier than the Mahindra, and I don't know. It's a known brand. It's been around forever. I mean, great grandparents use this stuff, so I'm happy with it. So, anyways, I hope you liked the video. This is just a little mini review, and these are my opinions on here. I'm no professional. I'm a rookie farmer. So anyways, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. I'll have more videos come up again later. See ya.